Hello and welcome to Moment of Truth on Labour Social. I'm Graham Hughes. So it looks like Labour have ruled out a wealth tax on the richest 0.0005% of the population. Something that could raise up to £20 billion for spending on things that desperately need money spending on them right now, like the NHS, fixing our crumbling schools, cleaning our rivers, getting the trains to run on time, fixing our broken economy. There are so many issues going on. Why would they do this? Why would they explicitly rule out a tax which would only affect 350 families by a mere 2% tax on assets over £10 million? In the run-up to a general election next year, you would think this would be a vote winner, all things considered. Now, I can think of three reasons why Labour might do this, or might have done this. The first is the least probable, but it's the one that you might subscribe to if you subscribe to other left-wing channels here on YouTube, and it's that the Tories and Labour are the same. Two cheeks of the same arse. Labour have looked at the trail of death, misery and destruction that the Tories have left in their wake over the last 13 torturous years and thought, more of that, please. If that's the case, then everything I know is wrong, and you possibly shouldn't watch this channel anymore because I obviously don't know what I'm talking about. The second option is that they're keeping their powder dry. They don't want to spook anyone into voting Conservative in the next election, and it's not that they're scared of the 350 grotesquely rich families, it's simply that Labour want to introduce new taxes. It's the sort of thing that will get jaded Tory voters off their arses next year and along to the polling booth to re-elect whatever chinless Nepo baby has a blue rosette on it, even if the tax won't directly affect them. Just see how the Tory voters who aren't even affected by ULEZ are behaving. In the next election, we need as many Tory voters to not bother voting as possible. Because the Tories don't just need beating in the next election, they need annihilating after what they've done. The third option is arguably the most terrifying and possibly the closest to the truth. Yeah, Labour are scared of these 350 grotesquely rich families. At last count, there are only 171 billionaires in this country. 171. You could fit more people in a single-decker bus. And yet, the power they wield is quite frankly insane. If the billionaires want something, anything, they get it. Want to pull out the EU? Yeah, sure thing. The billionaires will make it happen. A ban on wind farms in the middle of a climate crisis? The billionaires will make it happen. Over 100 new licenses for drilling oil and gas in the North Sea in the middle of a climate crisis? The billionaires will make it happen. Why? Well, because for a frighteningly significant proportion of the population, these billionaires are gods. Millions of your fellow Brits would crawl naked on their bellies over broken glass should the billionaires command. Don't believe me? Go and have a chat with the Elon Musk stands over on Twitter or X or whatever it's called this week. There are some who say that we live in a capitalist society in which we worship money. I don't think that's quite right. We worship people with money, slithering after them in the hope that they'll drop a golden nugget on the way to the party that you're not invited to. This isn't unique to Britain, but it's something that Labour have to consider as they prep for the next election. It's ridiculous, but then we live in quite a ridiculous country in quite ridiculous times. It's supposed to be a democracy, but evidently the only hope of getting the Tories out of power is the Labour Party is mortally afraid of these 171 psychopathic bastards. Because you've got to be a psychopathic bastard to be a billionaire, as far as I'm concerned. Don't forget, 90% of the means of communication in this country is owned by a handful of billionaires. Social media is owned by billionaires. The papers are owned by billionaires. The TV channels are owned by billionaires. And if one of those billionaires decide they don't want Labour to win the next election, they have many weapons at their disposal to make sure that Labour do not win their next election, despite everything that has happened over the last 13 years. I'm sorry I haven't got better news. I'm as fucked off about this as the next guy. A handful of families should not be able to control the truth and to disseminate lies as they see fit. My hope is that when Labour is in power, They spend the first term fixing the many problems that the Tories have created, but also put rules in place restricting the ownership of the media in the UK to British citizens who actually damn well live here, and bring proper oversight to the press, broadcast news, and political reporting. Then, going into the 2029 election, I want to see a wealth tax. I want to see PR. I want to see us rejoining the European Union, and I want to see universal basic income. Let's fight that election on those policies. But first, we need to neuter the billionaires. And we can't do that until Labour is in power.